And we are live, guys. Welcome, girls of high value, from another live session. My name is Joseph Darling. What we're going to talk about today is the true definitions of masculinity and femininity. This is of critical importance. We are talking about creating the next generation. Now, how important is the next generation? The next generation is everything. It is basically the determining factor whether this planet is going to survive and go beyond what we can imagine. It has evolved for thousands of years, perhaps even millions of years, until the point where we are right now. And unless we know and understand the true definitions of masculinity and femininity and gender, inevitably, the world will have to suffer the consequences in form of extinction. As simple as that. This channel, the Girls of High Value channel, is for teenage girls to understand the world, to understand truth, and to understand themselves, and also to understand boys. The reason why this channel even exists is because there is a massive problem in the world today when it comes to gender. And unless teenage girls are able to understand this, they're going to be confused the rest of their lives. In their teenage years, at the moment in time when there are so many changes that are happening to their lives and to their bodies, if they just understood gender and understood masculinity and femininity, it will give them so much peace, so much joy, so much happiness in life that this channel had to be made. So let's go into it. And before we do, make sure you smash that like button so that we can spread this message to all the teenage girls out there so that they can understand this principle. I do have another channel. It's called the Men of High Value channel, and that one is designed for men to understand what fatherhood is, what brotherhood is, and to take responsibility over their lives and also over the consequences of their actions upon humankind as well. So let's get into it. What is the true definition of masculinity? And this is going to blow you away and be completely different from what you've ever thought about when it comes to masculinity. Masculinity is to have complete, full control over one's thoughts, emotions, and one's actions. Masculinity is having full and complete control over one's thoughts, emotions, and actions, and therefore also having full control over the outcome and the results that one creates in one's life. To be masculine means to be responsible. To be masculine means that one is able to exercise discipline and self-restraint, to control one's thoughts, emotions, and actions, to be wise, to be deliberate, to be rational, and to think long-term about one's actions, and to think about delayed gratification and its benefits. That's masculinity in a nutshell. What is femininity? Understand that men and women, masculinity and femininity, are polar opposite. Completely opposite. Okay? Yes, we're both of immense value. But we are opposite. We're not only different, but we are opposite. Okay, understand that term. Understand that point. Because if we're opposite, then we can approach life differently. What is the true definition of femininity? The true definition of femininity is the opposite, meaning to have no control over one's emotions. To have no control over one's emotions. Therefore, also no control over one's thoughts, and as well no control over one's actions. Now, this sounds horrifically negative. It is not. It is a fantastic thing, and women should strive for it. Let's look deeper at that definition, because it's going to get good. To allow one's emotions to roam. To allow one's emotions to be free. Emotional freedom. Which means that whatever a woman feels is important. It's taken into account. It's feedback to the world of what is happening inside her life. What is happening or what is being caused upon her by other women, but also by other men. To be feminine means to be free emotionally, to feel, to follow one's heart, and to think short term and with immediate gratification. To enjoy the now, the present, and to feel. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's critical that you understand the concept of how the system works. Masculinity is to be responsible. Femininity is to absolve oneself completely of responsibility. In other words, to blame is feminine. Masculinity is taking full responsibility for everything that happens, meaning he creates an environment of freedom for femininity, because he has no need to force nor control other people's thoughts, emotions, and actions. A masculine man will automatically lead people in the right direction. And guess what? Feminine creatures will automatically follow without force. Simply because masculinity can promise a better day. Masculinity can say that this will be done. And I will take charge, and I will use my power for good to bring these results. If you follow me, you will get this. Femininity sees the vision, are turned on by the vision, because women are turned on by masculinity, and follow. And the key aspect here is that the man, or the masculine aspect of it, must be trustworthy. If masculinity is not trustworthy, it jinxes the whole system. Everything is destroyed, including humankind. The only thing that makes masculinity not trustworthy is the fact that he's not masculine. It's the fact that he's feminine. Because masculinity is responsibility. Masculinity is trustworthiness. Masculinity is leadership, influencing other people to do good and to follow him. If masculinity is back and forth and flip-floppy and goes wherever his emotions take him, and is not deliberate, it's not rational, and it's not long-term delayed gratification, then you can be assured that it's feminine because it's not trustworthy. Masculinity and femininity are complete opposite. We want men to fight non-violently for masculinity. It's something to strive for. It's something to work towards. It's something to discipline oneself to do. And it also happens naturally in men because of their sperm production, which allows them to be motivated to actually become masculine, because they will be rewarded by resources, by having the females of their choice, and by having optimal health. When a man is masculine, he is motivated because the right results are happening in his life. And femininity is attracted to him. We also, in that same manner, want women to be feminine. To be allowed to feel, to be allowed to have their emotions roam, to be allowed to do what they feel like doing, to enjoy the present, to enjoy sociality, to enjoy other women, and to enjoy a life of abundance and happiness and joy in the moment, without care, without responsibility, and without issues, because they're protected and provided for by masculinity. If you understand this concept, you understand how we can allow the next generation to flourish, to receive more abundance. And once more abundance comes, as long as we keep the genders intact, and masculinity is allowed to be masculine, and femininity is allowed to be feminine, and we do not mix and crisscross, civilization is going to turn out fantastic. What are some things happening in the world today when it comes to this? Men are becoming feminine and women are becoming masculine. Why is that happening? I'll tell you that it's because of its origin. Where it comes from is from the parents. Always. The parents, in some way, still, the government is more and more trying to take over how we raise our sons and daughters. That's a problem, because parents have to teach their sons and daughters, and especially about gender. In our family, we make sure we have color codes for boys, color codes for girls. And we all know what the color codes for boys are and what the color codes for girls are. Because gender is important. Where does it come from? It comes from the parents. If the father is masculine, trust me, he will teach his sons to be masculine because it gives him joy and happiness. To see his sons grow up to be disciplined and to chase goals and to achieve them. Femininity does not do that. Femininity just enjoys the now. There's no need to go and to create and to become and to improve upon civilization. A masculine father will teach his sons to be masculine. A masculine father will also know that the greatest happiness a woman will ever get is that of being feminine, of not having to worry or fear about her future, and therefore being able to be allowed to be in the present tense, to be in the present, to enjoy the now. So he will raise his daughters to be feminine. Unless that man is feminine himself, because then we get into a problem. Women follow their husbands. Women follow masculinity as long as he is masculine. But the moment the man has no control, is powerless, and has no vision or purpose for the family unit. The woman has to take responsibility. A feminine man causes a woman to be masculine. The woman now has to be responsible, has to be in control, has to make sure the finances are coming in, have to make sure she goes to work, have to make sure she's disciplined even though she is going through her PMS and her period and is having babies and is doing everything all at the same time. The man is not stepping up because he is feminine, and he's encouraged by society to remain feminine and to express his emotions and to be in the now. But understand that all those things lead to addiction and misery and gambling and alcohol and all those things that we believe will give us happiness but produce problems in the long term. And if not immediately, it will give us health problems eventually as we age. A feminine man will take massive amounts of pills because he is blaming what is happening to his body on circumstance. Yet it's his responsibility to take care of his body, to exercise and to eat nutritious food, and to understand anatomy and to take care of himself. Yet a feminine man will allow a woman to control the household and basically do what you want. And a woman doesn't want that. Now, she doesn't want to be controlled either. She wants to be led. She wants to voluntarily follow a man who is not feminine but is masculine, who takes control and makes results happen. Once he actually takes control and he creates the resources that the family needs, the woman now is allowed to rest and to lay back and to relax, finally, because he's producing results. Not only that, it will also turn her on and bring her femininity back in her and allow her to be a girl again. Just as when she was a little girl and when she was a teenage girl. No worries, no fears. Everything's taken care of. That's where we want women to be. Another consequence is that of in the bedroom. When men are feminine, there are 5 times to 10 times to 20 times more likely to have premature ejaculation problems, to have erectile dysfunction problems, to be powerless, to be infertile because they don't have potency in their sperm banks. There's going to be a lot of issues if the man is feminine. And on the other hand, with women, it's going to have, if they're masculine, they're going to have the inability to let go. They're going to be stuck in their heads instead of being in their hearts and in their bodies. This is not what couples want. Femininity in men and masculinity in women will eventually create divorce. Unfortunately, masculine men against masculine women will also create divorce because it's opposites. Femininity is allowing submission to enter one's life. It sounds horrible, but it's fantastic when it works. But it only works if the man actually steps up and understands game and understands what he must do to lead her voluntarily along to create a brighter future. This is what this channel is about. Allowing women to be feminine and allowing them to relax, to sit back and enjoy the show of power that trustworthy men are able to do when they are allowed to be masculine, to compete against each other and to create whatever resources the women of their lives desire. That's what this channel is about. And we are doing this one small step at a time. and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and share this with your friends so they can understand the true definitions of masculinity and femininity. My name is Joseph Darling. This is the Girls of High Value channel, and I'll see you again tomorrow.